That's Russell Knight. Oh, careful, Russell, don't run, you might hurt yourself. We've got the St. John's people here on hand, though, to help Russell if he pulls a hammy or something, Johnny.
Yeah, well, the listers are supplying the gear, and they've got their staff here. The shearer feels that plant number 4 is...
Sorry, it's Wellington Free.
Wellington Free?
Ambulance.
Oh, sorry. You've got
Sorry
that right
about
now.
that.
Good. Wellington Free Ambulance in the green overalls.
Made of wool, is it? Are those overalls made of wool?
We would like to think so. They'd be fireproof as well with them, wouldn't they? Okay, we have the shearers on the board, please. Everything feels right. We've got the all clear from the referee. Got the green light up the top. Okay. The first of the senior semi-final, sponsored by Primary ITO. 8 sheep. Timekeepers right. Judges, competitors, go. Well, Tuma, she's all go here again. These guys are hoping there was only going to be 6 because they're big, strong sheep. And they're supplied by Nadi Huna. And they've been shearing these this morning, and they've been a little bit naughty, some of them. They haven't quite sat right, but they're away now, and we're going to see some great shearing here to see this right throughout the rest of the day.
We've got Chris Mills from Masterton on stand number 1. Chris is he's a local boy. He's probably shorn a few of these sheep before. He might have a little wee bit of an advantage. Are you okay, Russell Knight? Okay, that's good. We've got Shani Rumini here on stand number 2. Shani's a local as well. He took a couple of years off just to pursue other things, and now he's back in the shearing, and he's loving it. We've got Robert Mudgeway on stand number 3. Ty Happy. Cam Hicks from Martin on stand number 4. He was in the pressing finals last night with his brother, and I see his brother's down here with the camera taking photos, selfies. I hope he's not taking selfies. You know, he should be taking photos of his brother. But anyway, over the last side shoulder comes Cam Hicks. Down there on stand number 5, Jonathan Rental from Nelson. But the speed stakes, down on the end, Charlie Guy, Johnny.
Yeah, well, Charlie was lucky to get in. He was the next one in. One of our fellow competitors here had a rather important engagement. He had a wedding in Tai Happy or something, so Charlie was the next in. So he gets a free shot here. Second chance. Up on the front here, Chris Mills has got another one on the board. Shani's right with him. Down there on 3, Robbie Mudgeway. In goes the big tall Cam Hicks. Oh, he had to buckle up a little bit to get under that doorway. In there now is Jonathan Rental on 5. The Peso all here down on number 6. Charlie Guy's making the most of his shot. Into the long blow he goes. These young shearers are shorn under 365 sheep in an 8-hour day to be in this class. Around the back of the head here on the front stand. Around the back of the head for Shani. Robbie Mudgeway's 2 or 3 blows in front. Cam Hicks 2 or 3 blows back. Up over the top, the last to turn is Jonathan Rental. Steps up the neck now, but Charlie Guy. Second sheep on the board, 2 minutes and a half gone. He drops down and out to the flank. He's going to keep the pace on. He knows he hasn't come all the way from Kyo to miss this second chance at getting into the final there, Tuma. We go down the bottle it goes. These shearers, not much between the rest of them, just a little bit of a shear on the inside of the leg there for Robbie Mudgeway. Hey, crikey, in my day I'd have used my left-hand fingers just to pluck that little bit of a frib off. Because once it goes down the porthole, she's too late. The pens, the YFC people down there won't worry about plucking any wool off for you. You've got to get it all off from the board. Remembering we've got the board points up there. That's the average number of second cuts per sheep. We've got the pen points. That's the judging outside. So when the yellow figures come up at the end of this job, that'll be the final on how these shearers have shorn throughout this event. So as the time's calculated at 20 seconds per point, you'll see the 3.5 minutes gone and 10.5 minutes, 10.5 points in time. Up over the time, the top now comes Chris Mills here on the front, closely followed by Shani. 2 Masterton lads. Robbie Mudgeway's couple of blows in front of him. Picking up the pace is Cam Hicks, the big tall fella. Out with these sheep number 3 is Jonathan Rental. But Charlie Guy, he looks like he's doing all the jobs down there, Mr. Mullins. He's coming under the shoulder with full, powerful, straight-out shots.
Oh, this Charlie Guy down there on stand number 6, he's making this look easy. Come on, Charlie. He's got a few brothers that follow him around as well, and they'll be coming up into this grade in the next couple of years. We got stands 3 and 4. Robert Mudgeway, Cam Hicks coming over the last side. But look at this Charlie Guy. He just sneaks in. Nobody's putting any pressure on him, so he's having the time of his life at the moment. Chris Mills down there on stand number 1, local boy. Come on, Chris. That's the way, mate. Keep pushing it along. 8 competition sheep. We're probably looking at about 11 to 12 minutes, I think, Johnny, for these guys. They'll be saving up the pace for the final, whether they get through or not.
Well, you would think that they would like to test a little bit of their speed out on these young maidens up here, but sometimes can be a little bit difficult as Mudgeway and Rimini go in the pen together. Cam Hicks is right there as well on stand number 4. Hey, they're not easy sheep to shear. There's no shortcuts in these little fellas. Well, they're not little fellas. They're well-rounded sheep here with a brilliant Wairarapa summer. It was kind in the spring for them, and everything's come together for it. Looked to be like a good mating season lining up for the Wairarapa as well. These sheep are in beautiful order. Stepping up next now, Robbie Mudgeway, Cam Hicks, blow for blow. Shani Rimini just dropping back off the pace a little bit as the other two start to fire the big shots, and Jonathan Rental down the first off leg for him. Out the last leg comes Charlie Guy. Don't be afraid to yell out for these guys. They can't leave anything in the packet. They've got to get it all out here today. Change of steel now for Charlie Guy down there. The closest to him is Chris Mills, the fella on the other end of the board. Number 1, down and out to the flank for him. Here comes Shani Rimini. He's starting to think, righto, I better get some hard work yards going here and over the shoulder on the last side. Oh, Robbie Mudgeway and Cam Hicks are going with him. Come on, Jonathan Rendell, stoke it along there too, but you need to encourage this young fella on number 5.
He certainly is. Come on, mate, because this Charlie Guy wants to put his sheep around you. He is hungry. He wants to be in that final. Who wants to be in the final at the moment? It looks like it's Charlie Guy out on his own, maybe Chris Mills. Shani Rimini, he's got the chewing gum in his mouth and he's chomping hard. That's the way to do it. It takes your mind off what you're doing. We got young Robert Mudgeway from Tai Happy, and he goes into the belly. Cam Hicks on stand number 4, change of steel as well. That's probably not a bad move because these sheep have been a little bit dry cutting, Johnny, and these guys, their combs are getting gunked up.
Yeah, they're very dense in the wool. I just watched outside. We've seen a little bit different wool texture coming through on the different lots of sheep that have been brought up here for us to shear. These are quite dense in the wool, so you get a lot of gum on the back, and you just haven't got the time to take it off. So put the fresh steel on. Get that magnificent cut. It'll be inky-pinky on the skin if the gear's going right. And the sheep won't kick because it's not actually dragging through across the skin. Here goes another one on the board now for Charlie Guy. There, down in the belly he goes. Sheep number 6. He's still got 2 in the pen. Chris Mills, where's he? He's over the shoulder on the last side. Shani Rimini under the shoulder. Cam Hicks has dropped back a couple of blows. Likewise is Robbie Mudgeway. Come on, you young fellas, keep stoking along. Look at him go out the last leg. Here goes Chris. He says, I want some new blades on now. My turn. Can I catch up to Charlie Guy? Charlie's into the first shoulder, moving the sheep. The most difficult part of the sheep to be shorn as he swings around to put his backside to you. The sheep now is laying on the floor prone. He needs to have that left leg right under the shoulder blade and push it down on top of the foot so that the sheep is not actually feeling the floor, it's feeling that foot, and has the right leg tucked hard in against the back of the sheep as now he swings onto the last side. Quite difficult now as he just had to remove that cheek wool and once he put the blow in, he had to follow through with the left hand, get it under the cheek and onto the jawbone so he could pull the sheep up and put it between his legs. Now he needs to keep that head high, right there on the last side. Keep it right up above the knees if he can, because hello, he just had to go for the reverse swing there and bring the head forward. So very important for these young shearers to think about all those little things as they're going through the shearing process, Tuma.
You sure did right when Jonathan Rentold on stand number 5, when he went to go and get that sheep, he had a look behind. He doesn't want this guy on stand number 6 to put a sheep around him. Up the neck he goes. But young Charlie guy down there on stand number 6, he's in a league of his own at the moment. He's putting the pressure on these guys, Johnny. That's what happens. You'll get someone that goes out in front and he just puts all the heat on everyone else, and he hopes to heck that his job stays good and he makes it through. Down there on stand number 6, up the neck he goes. We've got a bit of a battle going on here on stands 1, 2, 3, and 4. All these guys coming down the last side. Then this guy on stand number 5, he must have listened because he's really putting the gas on now. Robert Mudgeway on stand 3 and Cam Hicks on stand 4. Both start together. Chris Mills, he was in front before. He's a little wee bit behind now. In goes Shani Rimini. Come on, Shani, push it along, mate. Where's your whānau? Then we got Cam Hicks on stand number 4, Undermine. Is he going to make a bit of a run at this guy on stand number 6, Johnny?
I think he's starting to wind into it now. He says, I've been nice and careful up to now. I need to let the brakes off. Round the back of the head. But he's just still a side away from Charlie Guy down there on stand number 6 as he comes under the shoulder. Cam's going under the shoulder on the first side. Into the long blow he goes now. He's broken away from Robbie Mudgeway. Mudgeway's dropping into the long blow. Stepping up in the neck and around the back of the head is Bills and Rimini. Pretty much 2 blows apart. Renathal's down. He's got number 7 on the board as well. Up over the top. He's about to come. Oh, sneaking into the pen. Charlie Guy, 10 minutes and 20 seconds are gone. Cam Hicks comes under the shoulder. The big fella from Martin rolls across the last leg now. One out from the middle of the back, right out the last leg. Very long blow, that one. One over the tail and let it down the chute, young fella. Come on. You need to stroke it along. 10 minutes and 40. Under the shoulder on the front stand here as well. Oh, Mudgeway's coming. He's not letting Hicks get away from him as well, Tuma.
He certainly isn't. Come on, Robert Mudgeway. These sheep are only little lambs compared to the monsters he's used to shearing up and tie happy. Into the undermine goes Hicks. It looks like he's got a little beauty for last. Down there on stand number 6, Charlie Guy. Looks like he's got a big buff head. Can Cam Hicks make a charge at it? Because here he comes. Around the head works Hicks. He's chasing hard. Charlie Guy down there on stand number 6. He's got a bit of a regular Hicksy. Come on, mate, because this guy down on stand 6, his sheep is kicking the crap out of him, Johnny.
Oh, he's certainly dealing to him down there. Is Hicks making the most of it? I don't know. One. Oh, she's feeling the vibrations on the floor, the maiden he's got. Right there trying to remove the clothing. Over the top he comes on the money side of the sheep, but down and out to the flank for Charlie Guy. He's keeping it flat. Right out the last leg. Got a 2.5 on the board so far. Lets it down the chute there. What did he get? 8 and 42 or some of thereabouts as Cam Hicks comes under the shoulder. Charlie Guy from Kyo, the paceman in this event. Out the last leg he goes as Cam Hicks. Who's next in line? It's going to be Robbie Mudgeway if he can hang on from here as he comes down the last side. Hicks drops one down the hole. Over the last shoulder now for Mudgeway on stand number 3. Sheep number 8, the lad from Tie Happy, comes across the shoulder. Down and out to the flank. Oh, chasing him hard as Mills on the front here. Shani Rimini under the shoulder and down and out to the flank from him. Rental's not too far away down there on 5. Rolling on to the last side now as Mudgeway puts the finishing shots in. Still very, very good time. 12 and a half minutes coming up for these shearers. 8 of these big woolies have had to contend with. Coming down as Mills. He hits the red button and gets the blue light. Likewise now is Shani Rimini, the young Masterton man, and just Rentold a couple of blows to go, and then we're going to go back to the next heat and back to you, Rick.
Yeah, thanks, John. Just a quick call, please, to our PGG Wrightson's semi-finalists. Those shearers, if they'd like to come and get their singlets now, please.
Shearers, stay down, please. Shearers, stay down. Brent, stay down. Stay down, shearers, please.
1, 2.
Yeah, PGG Wrightson's
Well, good morning.
shearers. Just dug
Good
out
morning.
get your singlets now, please. Just also a call to
The
junior
internet family,
finalists,
we are
junior
back
shearing
live with the Golden Shears.
at the front desk here, please, for your singlets and to do a draw for the junior finalists. So make sure you're here, guys. 1:30 sharp for singlets and to do a draw. Okay, next heat for our senior semi-finals.
If you just rolled into the stadium and you're not sort of sure as to what's going on up the top there, it comes down to the lowest quality points. The lowest points, the better. It's not the highest. Robert Mudgeway, if you look up on the screen at this stage, there you go. He wasn't the quickest shear up there, but his quality points of 6.63 out the back and 0.63 on the board has put him at this stage as leading the charge. Russell Knight, how many did he get on the board looking up there?
2.
At that? How many second cuts did he get?
Good morning. We're just having a few sound technicalities, and it's best that we just move on. So once again, good morning, the internet world, and welcome to the 2014 Golden Shears here in the War Memorial Stadium in good old Masterton. Well, the day has dawned reasonably cool here. I think we're aiming for a top of, well, they say it's lucky to get over 10 degrees, and it's really, you'll see the people in the stadium walking around in warm clothes, rugging up, and this won't probably be great for the sheep. They'll have to, the trucking guys and the people out the back will have a huge task on their hands just to keep the sheep warm, because they shear better when they're warm. But underway on the stage at the moment is the Golden Shears senior semi-finals, and we're getting through them. Stand 1, we got Tudi Edmonds from Raitihi, David Gordon, a local boy, Sam Bullingham, an Englishman, Clearand Devan, Taihape, Ethan Pankhurst, Masterton, and down there, and I believe he is the top guy that everybody's gunning for, and that's Brett Roberts of Matoda. So that's the lineup, internet family. I suppose we can say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you've tuned in, you have family members, and you can send a text message of goodwill, support, and that'll come across the screen here at the Golden Shears.
Can you give them any advice on this day? Maybe too late for advice.
Try and keep your head. Doesn't always happen, Johnny. Okay, up the neck work, these shearers are working along very, very well. Brett Roberts, he was the winner of the senior speed shear the other night. Very capable young shearer. I said we got Tudi Edmonds. He's from Ratahi. David Gordon from Masterton, local boy. Sam Billingham, he's from England. We've got Corinne Devane on from Taihape on stand number 4. Ethan Pankhurst, he's a good little shearer on stand number 5. Local boy also. And down on stand 6 is Brett Roberts. But I think the quickest time was 11:43, was it, in that last heat? 11:43, around about. So these shearers, they've got a little bit of an edge, really. They know what sort of times they need to be shearing it in. I think Robert Mudgeway's points were 44. So they need to be in around there, 44, 45, if they want to make the final.
Oh, they're right on the money. Look at a minute 30 gone, and they're in for their second sheep. Down the far end, Pankhurst and Roberts. Pretty much blow for blow, those two over the first one. Tudi Edmonds up here in the front. Young lad from Ratahi, full of concentration. David Gordon, the local hope here in this one. Sam Bullingham, down the belly he goes. Confident shearer. He's got the English flag there above him, and he's hoping he does honour it with the great steel here as he flies down that first off leg. Just to make the next round is some achievement here at the Golden Shears. The premier year event here in Masterton. Round the back of the head comes Kieran Devane from Taihape, drops into the front shoulder now. But the pace still down there on stands 5 and 6. Roberts and Pankhurst, I think Pankhurst might have half a shot on him as he turns onto the last side now, over the money side of the sheet. 3 or 4 blows back here as Tudi Edmonds down here on the front. David Gordon next in line, Sam Bullingham, the Englishman. Oh, Ty Happy says, I'm not going to be left out, and he comes across the shoulder as well. Come on. All these young shearers need some help out there. They got 8 sheep this year. Give them a bit of a talking to. Whistle or yell and make it happen. You can do it now. It's after 11 o'clock. You won't get locked up. Down and out to the flank and out the last leg. Now goes Devane. In goes the big fella down the far end. He's got a natural style, this chap. He just smothers his sheep with body and glues them to the floor. Down the belly he goes with a nice sharp tool with his 13 teeth on that comb. Beautiful cutter gliding across there and getting the perfect cut. That's what we need. Make it inky pinky. Come on, you guys. Get amongst it. Terry Edmonds down the first off leg now. Here goes Ethan dropping into the long blow. David Gordon sneaks in for sheep number 3. Tuma, they're doing everything pretty right.
They certainly are. At the moment, if you have a look up top on the points board, you'll see how these shearers are going. 44, I think, was what the top qualifier from the first round went in through. So these shearers, you know, they got to keep the job right. You can't just get up there, blaze away and think it's going to be good, because it all comes down to training. And training for this begins in the wool shed every single day when you're working, keeping that bottom tooth on the skin. Go out, have a look at your sheep after every run, you know, and taking someone along with you as well. You know, get into these shows. It's a wonderful way to finish a shearer. You know, learn how to keep the quality of the job, giving a good return to the farmer. But down the last side works this young Tude Edmonds on stand number 1, shearing away nicely. But this boy, Ethan Pankhurst, on stand number 5, away he goes. He's opened up a fair gap between him and Ty Happy on stand number 4 and Matoda on stand number 6. The English boy on stand number 3. Come on. That's the thing with the different breeds too, isn't it? Like these sheep, they've got a heck of a lot of wool on them, and just you can see the concentration on some of these guys. Kieran Devane on stand number 4. Deep concentration, trying to keep that bottom teeth nailed on the skin as to not double cut the wool, Johnny.
He's certainly working away hard. Just hasn't quite freed up. A little bit of poking and jabbing on that belly, but of course the sheep is sort of hunched up a little bit. You just need to get that left hand working underneath the handpiece to move up those wrinkles on the belly as you attempt to do it. Those junior and senior wool handling finalists, 12:30 down here in front of the microphone to do your draw and get your t-shirts, please. Those junior and senior wool handling finalists in an hour and a half be down in front here at 12:30 to do the draw and get your wool handling t-shirts. Okay, back to the shearing now. Turu Edmonds comes up over the top, but he's the last side behind the pacemaker down there at the far end. Ethan Pankhurst. Yeah, he was in the finals here last year. He says, I want to be in the finals again this year. The quality of Brett Roberts, 0.5 at the moment, looking pretty sharp. Is he keeping it
Well, we come
flat
back live
glued?
to our
He's
internet
staying on
audience.
the
At the
post,
moment, there's
just
about
he's thinking
1,000 people viewing this, and we've had thousands of hours of internet viewing, and all interested in the Golden Shears here in Masterton. In the pen goes young Turi Edmonds from right to here in the central North Island, closely followed by the Englishman. Him goes in for sheep number 5. Into the pen he goes, and the Englishman is tearing along. You've got a good shot there, ladies and gentlemen, of the last 3 guys, but the guy on stand number 6 is the boy. That's the form horse. Here he is, the big boy from Matoda. Brett Roberts is into the undermine. There's a good shot of the sheep coming out the porthole, getting ready to be judged outside. Oh, he gives it a little bit of a encouragement by grabbing its ear. Up the neck goes the shearer on stand number 6, round behind the ear. Down the side comes Ethan Pankhurst, but Brett Roberts, the big boy from Matoda, I'm sure his family all logged in at the moment, and his granddad Clifford would be rapt to see his grandson. And long blow time for this man. Brett Roberts is on the long blow and is steaming along. Sheep number 5 on the board, but Turi Edmonds, the boy on stand number 1, is giving him a real good run for his money. Turi Edmonds is coming down the last side. Brett Roberts is coming down the last side. They're going flat tack. Down the last side comes these 2 young boys on stands 1 and 6. Down the last side, these boys go. Sheep number 5 on the board. We're going to be in for a really good one now. Up the neck, down the last side is a beautiful shot of these two young shearers, two big, strapping young Māori boys. Into the pen goes Tootie Edmonds. Oh, Tootie Edmonds decides to change his handpiece, put on a new handpiece, and into the pen he goes. Brett Roberts flies into the pen. He doesn't have much time. He just gives it a little bit of a chuck here and there, and into the belly he goes. Ethan's onto the long blow, and here he is turning to the last side is the Pankhurst boy. Down the last side, he tearing. Down there he goes, the shearer on stand number 5. But look at the big strong boy. And Brett Roberts has got the two big strokes there. Tootie Edmonds is up the neck at the same time, but there's a beautiful shot there of this young guy. Round behind the ear he works, and he's going for the doctor. The undermine time for, I don't know about this, but the boy from England is one sheep behind. No, we might have a new leader. We might have a new leader, and it's the Englishman. The Englishman has hit the front. Internet viewers, the Englishman's going to be turning to the last side. The first heat turns to the last side. Stands 1, 3, and 6. They're all blow for blow. There's a good shot there of this young man. Down the last side, we got some good viewing coming across there saying, go Ethan. But down the last side, sheep number 6 on the board, and Tootie Edmonds is it going to be the Māori boy on stand 1 that beats the Englishman to the pen? No, the Englishman is the first one to go in for sheep number 7. He's fired up. Down the last side, Brett Roberts is getting a little bit dragged behind, keeps sending the text messages. A little bit of encouragement into it there. Go Corn UK. Down the last side is David Gordon, the Masterton boy. Brett Roberts is a little bit slow going into the pen for his sheep number 7. And I think we're going to be cleaned out here by the Englishman. Here he goes. Sam Bullingham up the neck and around behind the ear. He's flat out. This man, and onto the first shoulder is Tootie Edmonds. Tootie Edmonds is onto the first shoulder, but the Englishman is onto the first shoulder as well. We're going to take you back to the commentators inside the stadium, but at this stage, we're going to be cleaned out by the Englishman, Sam Bullingham.
Tootie Edmonds is on 7 and comes under the shoulder and down and out to the flank. David Gordon, half shorn 7. Here in the middle of the stand, Sam Bullingham, the Englishman, he's putting on a good show here. He's right out the last leg. Brett Roberts out the last leg. Out the last leg now for Devane from Ty Happy. The gap's starting to close up on the back markers. But here at the last leg, it's going to be Pankhurst. He might get Roberts and put a sheep around him, and he hits the button. The young fella down on 5. Brent Roberts has still got one in the pen. Kieran Devane, what do we get a time? Till about 11 minutes. That's 30 seconds, 20 seconds at least faster than the previous heat. That's the whole point. That can count when you're making this final. Up over the top now comes Edmonds. Beautiful stuff here for David Gordon. One left in the pen though. Into the quality still there. 1.6s, 1.4s, 1.5s. Hey, that's just an average of 1.5 second cuts per sheep. Then Roberts comes up over the top now. Up the top and round the back of the ear is Kieran Devane from Ty Happy. He's just a few blows behind Bullingham from England. Down the first off leg for David Gordon. Tootie Edmonds into the long blow. Who's going to be next to finish Tuma? Get him on. Maybe Brett Roberts. He's starting to fire big now.
Oh, I don't know. I reckon this Ty Happy guy on stand number 4 is going to be the next one. He's thinking Brett Roberts, who? Down over the shoulder, he comes. All Sam Billingham's right there as well. Tootie Edmonds on stand number 1. 1, 3, 4, and 6, all coming down the last side. Who wants to make the final? Come on, boys, push the handpiece along. Sam Billingham, the Englishman, is it going to be you, or is it going to be Brett Roberts? Brett Roberts 6. Down on 6. Yes, he got the time points. Ethan Pankhurst, the speed demon. We got David Gordon down here, stand number 2. He's not too far behind. As you can look up on the board when the points go yellow, those are the final That's the final score. All your sheep have been judged out the back.
As David Gordon comes down the last side. Oh, look at this young maiden. She says, I want to go downtown and display myself with half my gear on. Not a chance, says David Gordon. I want that last bit of pantyhose off here, and he gets it right close to the skin now. And he's going to hit the button, ladies and gentlemen. That's young David Gordon from Masterton. Finishing touches. Oh, yes, she's a beauty. Thank you, darling, and away you go and grow some more wool. He had to make sure he did the pinky job on that one as those shearers move off. Could we have our next heat at the bottom of the stairs, please? Awesome stuff. Welcome up onto the board. Casey Bailey on number 6. On number 5, Cody Beck. Scott Wilson on 4. Dean Hurley on 3. On number 2, Rowan Nesbitt. And Michael Ralston up on the front stand here, number 1.
Just a call, please. Competitors in the PGG Wrightson's Championship. Heat 1 will be John Kirkpatrick, Gavin Rowlands, Norm Haraway, Darren Ford, Tony Costa, Axel Reid. Heat 2, Tiffany Tifota, Grant Smith, Nathan Stratford, David Fagan, Aaron Haynes and Douglas Smith. Those 2 heats of our PGG draw. They'll be run straight after this 3rd senior heat.
Yellow scores coming up there, Tuma. Sam Billigan last to be scored outside. Oh, quite high. 44 being the lowest for Brendan Roberts. 44.9. What was the lowest score in the first heat, Tuma? 44, I think, believe somewhere around about that figure. So there we have Brendan Roberts, the top qualifier in that one.
I think we've got 2 on 44 and the rest are around 46.
Well, it's a bit of a battle, isn't it? Eh? Get the old cards out and divvy it up. Who's going to be next in? Just these shearers, we have them on the board, please. It's long enough in there. You only get in there, you create trouble.
What do they do when they go in the pens there, John? Are they in there nature's call or?
I don't think they really know. No, but what they're actually in there looking for is just the different types of wool and the size of the sheep. And maybe one's a little bit, you know, as I say, different types. One's a bit denser, one's a bit more open. How they want to plan it. Give me an open wool one first. Give me the dense one first. Give me the small one last. You know, that's just a little bit of talk to the pen boys. But we have a green light, so we need all those shearers and all the talking's done. We need you on the board. Thank you, gentlemen. 8 sheep this year in this primary ITO semi-final. Heat number 3, the last chance of any 6 shearers. Stands 2 and 1, please. Michael. You're not Michael, you're Willie. Willie Buick, he's the referee here this morning. He's just going along checking, make sure all the shearers are happy. A grumpy shearer is not a very good person. But at the end of the day, once the sheep are shorn, you get all smiles again and away we go. We got a Scotsman up on the board this time around. Stand 2, please. Rowan. Okay, we're ready to go. Timekeepers are right. Judges, competitors, go. We're off and going here. Judge has just moved his arm across in front of the shear. Look, I've got naught on my thing at the moment, on my counter. It'd be great if you could give me a big goose egg on the first sheep. But, hey, who knows? The sheep's going to have a little bit of say about that as they set themselves alight to me. Last chance of these guys. They've got to push the barrow. Got to make it happen for themselves.
Well, if I remember rightly, this guy on stand number 6, Casey Bailey, was right amongst it in the heats. Good shearer. He's been shearing for the Woolhandlers. So, you know, it's good to have these volunteer shearers come in. It'd be a bit hard to have the wool handling if the wool handlers had to pluck it off the sheep as it ran past. So, you know, we need to thank our shearers for doing that for us. But at the moment, Primary ITO are the sponsor of this event. This is the senior shearing semi-final. This is the 3rd and final heat. These guys are a little bit lucky. They've been able to watch what's happened unfold before them. The dramas and days of our lives of it, I suppose you could call it. and now it's their turn up there. These sheep have shown to be a little bit lively, you know, and that's the thing that, you know, the public needs to understand, is that these sheep are wild animals. They only probably see humans maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Apart from that, they're chucked on the hill blocks and left to fend for themselves. But Dean Hurley from Whangamomina down there on stand number 3. He's the first one in for sheep number 2. 1.5 minutes, Johnny. Is that about the right time, or is it a little bit slow?
I think it may be just a shade slow. They just got off to a bit of a slow start. But I was quite liking the form of the Scotsman there on stand number 4. He was actually going pretty well, but as you talked about that wild animal, it just exploded underneath him. And he had a difficult time, about 3 grabs at before he finally got the back leg off it. And he's probably wishing he might have had a carving knife and taken a bit of a steak off as well to feed up, to rebuild his energy, because it sapped him fairly decently there as he tried to control that sheep. But early he out in front here, he likes to get into amongst it, but don't you count out Casey Bailey down there on the far end. Rolling up the long blow, he's turning onto the last side. He's perhaps moved out in front of this field, the man on stand number 6. Cody Beck drops into the long blow on stand 5. Working away across the shoulder. Now about to happen, and Michael Ralston from Levin on the front here. Beautiful shots coming in. Moving the left hand, pushing, pulling, rolling the skin as he comes under that front shoulder and down and out to the flank. Rowan Nisbet might need to find another gear if he wants to make the final, because these guys are going hard. Down on stand number 6, 2 minutes and 54 gone. I think he might have picked up the ante a little bit. Here comes the Scotsman, Scott Wilson. Dean Hurley from Whangamomina right there as well. That's up in the central Taranaki. Michael Ralston from Levin, constant competitor around the shows. Down the belly he goes. Out the last leg now for Cody Beck from Tamaranui. Come on, guys. The man down in front, 3 minutes 20 gone, and he's around the back of the head, doing the job. Who's going to chase him? Who's going to make it hard?
Rowan Nisbet from Rangiora on stand number 2. Come on, mate. Your quality is beautiful, but you're going to need to pick it up, because these other guys look down on stand number 6. Casey Bailey's turning to the last side. He wants to be in that final. He's been watching the previous semi-finals, and he wants to make that final as well. He's a local boy, so he'll be saying, IP on the posts around here, guys. So if you want to get in that final, you're going to need to pull your fingers out. Scott Wilson on stand number 4 turns to the last side. Good little shearer. I was talking to him outside, and he says he's off to Norway next week. So these young shearers, they don't stay in one place very long, Johnny.
Well, that's the beauty of the big bird, isn't it? You can get on and be over the other side of the world and work within about 3 days, you know. No stopping. If it rains in New Zealand, fly to Norway. Shear a week there, come home when the weather finds up. Not quite like that, but they get over to Norway this time of the year when they'll be shearing, you know, in a lot of different situations. It's very, say, hard case in Norway. You shear in the freezing works, you go down and shear a few of the local sheep. They tend to know them by name, very small numbers. But by golly, being the shearer, you can get around the world and just, even if you don't shear many a day, as long as you're covering the social life, it's a great way to see the world. Into the pen goes Cody Beck from Tam. On the board, 5 on the board, down for Bailey. He's doing well. Come on, pressure on. No yahooing to give him a bit of a tune-up down there. He's going well. 5 minutes and 47 out the door for Hurley, Wilson and Ralston together. They are pushing. Change of steel now for the Scotsman. He'll use the tactics. Over the shoulder comes Cody Beck on stand number 5. Round the back of the head comes a Rangiora Rowan Nisbet. Rangy Rowan, we could call him. We could get him going here. Into the long big blow he goes. But at Bailey down the far end. He's making every post a winning post in the gang of stakes at the moment as he turns over the last side now. Look at him go. He's going to ring the board in this one unless there's a big failure somewhere. Beautiful scores up there on the top. Hey, nice pin jobs outside, an average of 2. It'll get a little bit higher as the number of sheep have been judged. Each time the judges touch their little button up on stage here, we have record a second cut. And that comes through, it's an average number of second cuts per sheep. It's an average number of demerit points out the back. So that's the amount of points per sheep at the moment. Up there we have a pen of 3. So average number of 3 demerit points over the 8 sheep. 6 on the board now for Casey Bailey. The rest have got 5. But Rolston's not too far away. He's picked up the pace a little bit. Likewise as Wilson, the Scotsman. Come on, you guys. You need to barrack for your favourites up there. It's a lonely job. There's last chance for these 6 guys to get up there in that big final later on this afternoon, too. But I don't think they're going to pull back the pace of the man down on stand number 6, so.
Oh, looking down there on stand number 6, the Casey Bailey. He's got a really big woolly sheep, so if any time is the time, it is now. Scott Wilson on stand number 4. Come on, mate. Put the hammer down, because down on stand number 6, Casey Bailey is struggling. That sheep is a big woolly, blinging F and look at it, it is struggling with him. Down around the back of the head works Scott Wilson from Scotland. Michael Rolston on stand number 1 from Levin. He's not too far behind either. All these guys, they're going to pull it back. That's the pressure of it up there. If you hear that these guys are gaining on you, Johnny, sometimes it can affect your shearing.
You're not dead wrong there. Hey, look at him. The pace has come on for the Scotsman. He says, righto. Tommy Wilson said, get settled in and then give it your best on the last 2. Out the last side he comes. Out the last side comes Rolston, but Bailey still 7 or 8 shots in front of him as he comes out the last leg. They're pegging him back with everyone now. Maybe the panic has set in down on stand number 6. Who knows? He's still got, 5 or 6 shots out in front as Rolston. Oh, no, it's a Scotsman hard on his heels. Make sure you keep it flat, but go hard as well. He over the top on the last side. Nesbitt into the undermine now as he rolls the leg down on stand number 2. Pushes it in with his left hand. Pushes it straight to the backbone with the shots. 2 up towards the middle of the back. Up over the top he comes. Up over the top. What is he on? Sheep number 7 down there. Stand number 6. Here comes the Scotsman. He steps up the neck. Up the top comes Michael Rolston. 1 in the block for him. Round the back of the head and down towards the first shoulder. The Scotsman starting to put him in. On stand 5. Cody Beck finishing touches to sheep number 6. Turning for home is Bailey down on number 7. Across the shoulder he comes. Come on, Scotsman. He turns for home. Scotland the brave, you'll have to be to pull him back from here, though. Under the shoulder and down and out to the flank. 5 blows in it. As across the shoulder now comes Michael Rolston as well. Dean Hurley, he's a little bit back. He goes around the back of the head towards the most difficult part of the sheep. Elbows and arms and fingers working in as Casey Bailey goes in 9 minutes and 55. 3 shots away. Here comes the Flying Scotsman, Scott Wilson. Can he pull him back, Toomer, on this 8th and final sheep?
Oh, I don't think so. Casey Bailey's got a little beauty, but so is Scotty. Come on, Scotty, put the hammer down, mate. Michael Rolston, he's been down there on stand number 1. Not much attention to him, but he's on his 8th and final sheep as well. Up the neck goes Casey Bailey from Masterton on stand number 6. Round the head he works. Up the neck goes Scotty Wilson. He's got a little flyer. Michael Rolston down there, stand number 1. Into the undermine he goes. Look at this little Scotsman on stand number 4. He's giving it everything. He is flying into that long blow. Casey Bailey, you got the Mouldy Boy cruise going on. He's thinking, man, this is easy. Down the last side he comes, but there comes the Scotsman. Hand flat out. Johnny, look at him. Is he going to catch him? Oh, it's going to be close.
He down the last side. They're going together. Maybe just Bailey a couple of blows in front, but the Scotsman's got a fast last side. He's been watching the Tinkerwoody boys. Bailey out the last leg. 2 and then it down hits the button. Ooh, what just a whisker in it, by golly, as they stop the clocks there at 33.4 and 33.3. And magnificent, just a 1 mere second. Coming down the last side is Rolston. Here we go into the long blow now for Dean Hurley, but Rolston's going to be the last one the next one, to finish the last sheep. Down the last side he comes. Sheep number 8 for him. Stand number 1 up over the tail. Now comes Cody Beck. Doing pretty well down there, keeping the job right as Rolston comes out the last leg. Here comes Hurley on the money side of the sheep as well. But by golly, Scotty Wilson there, he picked up the pace. And just a hundredth of a point between them on the time stakes as Michael Ralston has a chat to the judge about where did I leave it on, where should I have taken a bit more off. Who knows? Rowan Nesbitt's got sheep number 8. Rowan from Rangiora comes out into the most difficult part now as Dean Hurley. He reaches for the time button, the man from Whangamomana. Over the last side comes Tamarunui now, working across the shoulder as Rowan Nesbitt from Rangiora drops into the long blow. He's got a little bit behind the 8 ball, but he's hung in there and trying to keep the quality right. He made it through to the senior semi-final. That's important, but it would be important if he got through to the next round, but there's some nice low scores up there in this event, so it's going to be quite difficult as the longer it takes him as Cody Beck from Tamarunui completes the task. Just a few blows left to go in this senior shearing competition sponsored by Primary ITO Tuma. There's been some great shearers. They've given it their all in the last couple of days, but I'm afraid we can only take 6 through to the final.
That's right, Johnny. These guys have left it all up on the board, haven't they? And we've got Rowan Nesbitt, Rangiora. He was a bit worried he was going to get cheap put around him, but he's done very, very well. Give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. That was the 3rd and final heat of the senior shearing semis. 6, you reckon, John, taking the top 6? It's a bit tough. Just looking up there, though, Casey Bailey and Michael Ralston, they had really good shares.
Yeah, looking pretty sharp up there. Of course, 44 was the figure to beat before. Well, now we've got a 42, almost 43. So that'll tell you something about it. Casey Bailey with a 40, so he looks to me to be the top qualifier through to the final. No doubt they'll give us a roll. A few sheep to be judged yet. Dean Hurley, he's not quite up there with the final score. Next event on the card is the PGG Wrightson event, the National Circuit semi-final.